right. I'm going to call the meeting of the Castro Valley Unified School District Board of Education to order. Are there any requests to speak on? Thank you. We will recess to closed session. All right, welcome back to open session. My name is Dot Theodore, and I am the president of the board, and my pronouns are she, her. We took no action in closed session. And our Vice President Whitaker is not here tonight, so I will appoint Dolly as Vice President this evening if she will accept.
Sure, I accept.
We have two board members who are absent today. And we'll move on to approval of the agenda.
No changes. I move that we accept the agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you. Are there any questions, comments? All right, Quentin, your preferential vote?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Vice President Adams?
Yes.
And I will say yes, and the agenda is approved. Vice President Adams, can you please read the mission statement?
Yes, we work together to provide safe, challenging, innovative, and culturally responsive learning environments to ensure that all our students feel respected and supported to achieve their unique academic potential and explore their individual talents.
Thank you. The board respects and encourages the public to comment on matters on the board agenda and within the board's jurisdiction. The board fully supports civil discourse and requests that everyone respect each other and their point of view. Individuals who wish to address the board must complete a request to speak form or via the Google form at www.cv.k12.ca.us/public comment/ and submit it prior to the start of the agenda item. At the discretion of the board president, speaker cards may be accepted after the start of the agenda item. Your name will be called and you will either come to the podium to speak or unmuted during your turn and be allowed to make public comments. After the allotted time, you will then be re-muted. Individual speakers are asked to limit their comments to no more than 3 minutes unless the board decides otherwise. There are up to 30 minutes of public comment allowed on each agenda item. With board consensus, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed. This meeting is being recorded to prepare the official minutes. To comply with the Brown Act, the board may listen to comments from speakers under public comment, but can neither discuss nor take action on issues presented. The next item is student board member report. Quentin.
Thank you. My report for the board is relatively short today. Back to school nights are happening around the district. The high school's back to school night is happening on September 1st. Also, book fairs are happening around the district at the elementary and middle school level. At the high school, we have our first football game on Friday. It's going to be against Foothill High. Our welcome back assembly was last Friday, where our 2022 homecoming week theme Lights, Camera, Action was announced. Overall, there's just lots of events happening around the district, especially at the high school. The school year is just picking up steam. I personally had the pleasure of meeting the milestone of my first math test, so we'll see how that goes. But overall, everything's getting back to normal. Sports are picking up, and we're excited for a good year.
Thank you. We'll move on to the reports from CSEA and CVTA. Is there anyone on the line? We wait a minute and see if they. Yeah, let's ask her if she is here to represent CSEA. Yeah.
Hello, this is Samantha. I was requested to unmute.
Hi, Samantha. Are you here to speak on behalf of CSEA tonight?
I actually was not planning on. I am the chapter secretary, so I can.
Well, if you have any words you want to say, you're welcome to say them.
Okay, well, thank you for the invite. I can tell you that we had, started off the school year. We've been very, very busy trying to make sure that everything's clean and ready for the kids to go and they're all enrolled and all the things that we do. We had a social event last night for some of our chapter members, which was nice to kind of get together and let our hair down. Really looking forward to a good school year and working with the district and the students.
Thank you. And thank you for being put on the spot and being willing to say a few words.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice evening. All right. Do we have any requests to speak on items not on the agenda? All right. We will move on to the consent agenda. Are there any changes? Nope.
I'll move approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you.
I second that.
All right. Are there any questions? All right. Quentin, your preferential vote, please.
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Vice President Adams,
Yes.
and I will say yes, so the consent agenda is approved. All right. We will move on to reports, discussion, and action items.
Personnel item is for your consideration.
I'll move approval of the personnel report.
Thank you.
I second that.
Thank you. Are there any questions? All right, Gary, your vote, please.
Yes.
Vice President Adams,
Yes.
and I will vote yes, so the personnel report is approved. Measure G
All
update.
right, exciting. We have a wonderful presentation tonight. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Chan, who's going to introduce our speakers and the program.
Yes, excited to have two of our directors here. We have the Measure G summer projects as well as the maintenance operations and transportation. So Aaron Ackerman, Director of MOT, will start us off and then pass it on to Ms. Drew Quinns to give you an update on Measure G.
Thank you, Susie. Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Amadi, members of Executive Cabinet. Let me start off by saying at this time last year, I had been on the job for 2 weeks, so I'm feeling a little more comfortable this year going into this. So I welcome the opportunity to be here in front of you tonight to highlight some of the work that we've been doing over the last year and during the summer to prepare for our students. I'm really proud of the team that I have in maintenance, operations, and transportation, and we really do our best to provide a clean, safe environment for all the students of Castro Valley. I've got a vested interest in the back of the room there, two little Chabot tigers that I brought along with me. So we'll start off with the pool at Castro Valley High. So I'm very happy to report we made it through the whole summer with no shutdowns due to equipment. We did have a brief shutdown due to a biological incident from one of the hard swimmers. We won't go into details on that, but it was not due to any equipment malfunctions. And so, of course, as soon as I made this slide and turned it in last week to send over to you to review, we had a major equipment issue at the pool and had to shut everything down. So we are up and running again. The water polo team is back in the water tonight. I saw them as I drove by on my way here, so they're very happy to be back. We do need to still make some repairs, but we're able to keep the pool running while we're working on that. So this summer we did replace the chlorine pump, and we supported both the hard swimming program as well as the CV Crocs with their summer program. And so now we'll move along to irrigation and field work, which is a never-ending task. I've got to say, I went to Creekside today to see the awesome work that Sharon is doing over there. And the guys are very excited to have a brand new field with new irrigation lines that aren't 50 years old. So they're eager to get their hands on that. But over the summer, as you can see, we've done a lot of work replacing some of our old lines. We've had some issues with some breakages. Sprinkler heads that weren't working properly that ended up needing to be replaced. We did have a major leak at Castro Valley High that took us about 8 weeks to actually locate. That was quite a project. So we were turning the water off to all the fields, turning it back on just to water, turning it back off, and it was a nightmare. But we finally found that, got it resolved, and so everything is going smoothly over at the high school now. And then we have a new gopher abatement service. We've had some pretty significant issues over the last 2 years with gophers at our various sites. We have a few sites that are surrounded by a lot of open space that is just very inviting for critters to take up residence. So we have a new company that started a few weeks ago, and we're already seeing really promising results with them. And I'm very excited to get them looking at all of our fields and keeping us in good condition for our students and our groups that rent our fields. This is just some more of the irrigation work. We had a leak up at Jensen Ranch right at the start of the year. The guys got up there and fixed that in a day or two. Another issue over at Chabot in front of the softball fields at the end of the parking lot that they were able to resolve. And they're bringing that grass back now. And then over at Independent, at the end of the kindergarten yard. That was a several-day project to get that rebuilt, but that is repaired and everything is safe for the kids over there now. This is another big one that we've got going on with our older infrastructure, a lot of plumbing projects. So at the high school, we had to rebuild a bunch of the urinals in the boys' restrooms. The new valves did not quite line up, so we had to, as you can see, make some adjustments, bring the pipe down and patch the hole in the wall. We had to do that in several restrooms at the high school. So we got those put in with more efficient valves that don't use as much water. So we're very happy to be able to save some water with those fixtures. And then over at the Adobe Art Center, we added a utility sink in the kitchen so that we have somewhere for the custodians to fill up their mop buckets and mix their chemicals and everything to ensure that they're able to clean that space adequately. When that picture on the bottom there was taken, they hadn't painted it yet. So it is painted white. It blends in much better with the building now. So you can't even really tell that it's there unless you're looking for it. So we're very happy about that. And then we did patch the wall as well in that picture on the top right. Paving was another big thing that we did this summer. That top left picture was a collaboration with Measure G. We assisted with some of the removal of the existing concrete to have them extend their paving project a little bit around that corner to resolve an issue that had been ongoing for several years at Stanton. So we're very happy that we were able to work together and collaborate on that project and get that taken care of. And then in the middle there, we have some benches at Proctor. They were originally all lined up against the fence. We wanted to put them over by the playground so that parents that are there for baseball or soccer are able to sit there by their kids that are playing on the playground and they're not way over by the fence watching them in the distance. So we were able to relocate those benches. And then the top right there is the blacktop at Canyon. We very quickly were able to put a slurry coat on the basketball courts and restripe them just before the start of school so that PE and the kids playing basketball at lunch have a nice fresh court to play on, and PE has their numbers back. So very happy that we were able to pull that together quickly right before the start of school. This was another rush project. Basically, that door just disintegrated. That's over in the main gym at the high school. we got a call, hey, we've got registration coming up and this door just kind of crumbled and fell apart on us. What can we do? And so the guys were able to find another door that wasn't being used. They had to cut it to size and cut the holes for the hinges and the doorknobs and everything. And they were able to get that together. And then the custodial staff at the high school was able to paint that. So it was like it never happened. Everyone went through registration and never knew that there had been this issue the week before. So on the right side here, you can see some of the work. This was the big leak location that I mentioned previously at the high school. I believe the guys dug 12 separate holes to try and find the location of that leak. We had leak detection companies come out that were telling us it was way over here, and it ended up being way over there. So it was a guessing game for a while trying to figure that one out. So we're really happy that we were able to get that one resolved and make sure we're saving our water. And then the trees in front of the high school stadium, we like to make sure that those are looking good, get all the dead leaves off of there and keep them looking fresh, especially as football season is starting. It's a great visual walking up to the stadium to have the fresh trimmed trees out in front there. And this one is a really big one to me. And it started with my predecessor, Gary Krebs, really pushing to go above and beyond what is required by the fire marshal to ensure clearance around our sites. The minimum clearance is 100 feet. He started the practice of going to 200 feet to try and get us some additional space and protect our sites. Palomares, as you know, is an especially sensitive area. It's out in the middle of the woods. So we want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to protect our sites. And so you can see the before and after here of the brush that was cleared out. This is between the school and the creek that runs in front of the school. And then these ones are a little harder to see because they're so small, but this is up above Canyon. So we're clearing down from the neighbors' houses that are up above. So you can see kind of the work in progress as the guys are moving across the top of the hill and getting that clearance. Okay, now moving into operations. I did this last year and I tried to remember not to do it again, but I front loaded all my pictures and fun stuff, and now I just have 2 slides. So I'll try and make it fun. So very proud of the operations department. They work really hard during the summer to make sure that everything is clean and safe and ready to go for the start of the school year. And they just do a tremendous job of making sure everything is ready to go when teachers and staff and students come back to our sites. So this summer we deep cleaned and refinished 3 of our gym floors. We weren't able to do Canyon. We'll coordinate with Sharon. Once they're done with that, we'll try and get in there for a couple days and refinish that one once they're done with construction. We deep cleaned 13 campuses. We assisted with site-initiated moves. So a teacher's moving to a different wing, or a new teacher's coming in and someone has retired. The custodians help out with all of those types of moves. This year we had summer school at 4 of our campuses, and so we assisted supporting the day-to-day operation of summer school as well as cleaning up after. Huge props to the summer school site custodians, because they were balancing summer school with still trying to get their normal deep clean of the campuses. And so that's always a tricky balancing act for them. But as usual, they just did a fantastic job, and I'm really proud of them. The least favorite task probably of the summer custodians is resetting locker combinations. It is a very tedious job. It takes a long time, several days at the high school. It's a little faster at the middle school, but it is very tedious and time consuming. So I really appreciate them putting in all that effort to make sure that everybody's ready to go with their new combinations for the freshmen coming in. We also service the district facilities where we are having community use, such as the stadium, or where we were renting our facilities to outside users. We had a lot of field use during the summer. We had the pool. We've got some churches back at some of our sites on the weekends. So the rentals are really picking up. Community use, everybody's starting to come back and really utilize our sites, and we're really excited to be able to offer that to the community. And then we supported Play CV with their summer programs. It's been awesome to see everything that Play CV has to offer for our students, and we're very happy to be able to support them in any way that we can. We really try and make sure that they have everything that they need to do this awesome work that they're doing with our students. And last but not least, transportation updates. So it was a very busy summer for the transportation department. I am very pleased to announce this is our 4th year in a row with no violations from the CHP terminal inspection, which is a huge feat, especially considering that until this past year, we did not have a mechanic. So it was even more impressive that we were able to start that streak. And so we've just continued that great work for the 4th year in a row. We redid our bus routes. Now that everything is kind of back to normal, we're back to our more traditional bus routes that we've run in the past. So we created those, got those out to everyone at the end of last year so people could start looking at the transportation piece before they went away for summer. Just one less thing for people to have to worry about over the summer break. And then we also redid our special ed routes so that we can maximize the number of students that we're able to transport in-house with our own drivers. We transported for summer camps this year. We were very excited to be able to take some kids to summer camps again. It's been a few years since we've been able to do that. So I know the bus drivers really enjoy taking the kids to camp. So that was a great thing to see come back. And then we also had transportation for our summer school programs. I am very pleased to announce we are in the process of implementing a new parent tracking app for our buses and our sped vans. So for the buses where we have the ID cards that they scan when they get on and off the bus, the parents will be able to see my kids scanned on at this time, at this stop. They scanned out when they got to school at this time. They can see real-time updates of where the bus is. They can set a boundary. So if you live on the far side of town, you can say, when the bus crosses Lake Chabot Road, I want a notification so I can go down to the bus stop. So it's really exciting to be able to start to offer that technology for the parents and give them that peace of mind of knowing where their kids are, knowing that they got on and off the bus and got to where they were trying to go. With the sped vans, because we don't scan in and out when the kids get on and off, we don't have that piece where it tells what time they got on and off, but they can track the vehicle in real time. So we still have that piece to be able to offer on the sped vans. And then lastly, I am super, super excited about this. We have created a new paraprofessional sped van driver position. So we piloted this at Marshall. It's going really well. And so we've got more people that are interested. We have a driver that is also a paraprofessional. She comes, picks up the van from us. She goes and picks up her students, goes to Marshall. The van stays at Marshall with her. She takes the kids home at the end of the day, and she brings the van back to us. And it's worked out really well. And so we've got some more people that are interested, and we're really excited to try and build that out and be able to transport more of our students in-house. So that's a very exciting piece for me. I know I went through it quickly. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you very much for your presentation. Dolly?
I feel like I have a lot of questions. One, I think that's really neat about the tracking of the buses and the sped vans so that parents know the bus or the van is coming for their kid. And, you know, it's not like you have to waste time calling the parent, where's the student, all of that. It's very good. And the last part, can you put that back up? I'm so sorry. The last bullet. Oh, so sorry. Oh, yeah. And I think that what an innovative way, since we're having, you know, trouble getting bus drivers and whatnot, to come up with a way that people are both the driver and the para. I think that's really neat. Do they have to have a special license, or is it a regular Class C license?
No, a regular Class C for the sped vans. The bus
okay.
driver, you got to jump through a bunch of hoops for that. But
Right,
for this,
right.
for the sped vans, that's just a regular
don't.
Class C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, great idea.
I wish I could take credit. It kind of fell into our lap with someone looking for more hours. So
Oh, okay.
it was a thing of luck for us. So
Gary?
Thanks for the report, and thanks for all the work that you did. It's really terrific, always. I just have a almost silly question, but how are the boars? You talked about the gophers. But
I'm going to knock on everything I can. We have
Get rid
not
of them?
seen them. I don't want to see
Okay,
them.
good.
No, they have not been back in a couple of years. So let's hopefully keep it that way.
I'm glad they're gone.
But
Thank you.
luckily, this new gopher abatement service that we're using, they deal with all kinds of wildlife. So if we do end up having a boar issue, they can assist us with that as well.
How about the skunk that lives under the van up at, or under the portable up there at Canyon?
That is that's an ongoing issue.
He's a pet.
Well, thank you very much. This presentation is one of my favorites of the year because I know how hard your team works, and it's great to have this summary and all of the visuals. And I have to say, I'm so impressed with the door that you replaced on the fly. I am not handy, so I have so much admiration for someone being able to come in and say, well, we need to cut it and put the holes here. It would have been a mess if it were, my job. So thank you very much for all that you do, and please share my gratitude with your team.
I will. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And I just cannot say it enough. I have an awesome team.
You do.
And all the credit to them. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah. All right. The next item is assignment. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Nope.
I know,
Back
or
up.
two.
that's your G.
So when it comes up. So I will be quick, since you've seen the slides. I've talked about this before, but we just opened a gender neutral multi-stall restroom in the high school and the 300 building. So we converted the girls' restrooms into the gender neutral restroom. It has the window that you can see on the right, the picture for supervision. There are floor to ceiling partitions with a small gap for ventilation. Each stall has a fire alarm, smoke detectors, so that it creates privacy, and also the window provides for supervision and security and safety. And then another addition we did in the 300 wing is the life skills classroom. We're setting this up as an apartment. We're still getting the furniture and making finishing touches, so it's a work in progress, but we're almost done with it, so that our special ed kids can start to learn, like as an apartment style. They'll also have a bed, like how to make a bed, how to do your laundry and cook. So that's a nice addition that we are happy to help with. At Canyon, we did the flooring in the library and more classroom upgrades, more lockers. So we're just kind of going along each phase, doing very similar things, but making sure all the buildings are taken care of. Our last phase does work on the main office and the gym. So it does create a little bit of moving around. So temporarily, we have the main office set up in D11, and we created signage and help messaging to make sure that all the kids and parents that are coming in know where they're going. So we have we have banners, like in the picture you see on the right, D11, a picture of just what the office looks like, with some more like an open office plan with some movable partitions for them. And then we get to the gym. So the gym, we were hoping to get it done in a summer, but we had some unforeseen conditions that has come up. And so we are working to mitigate that. But I wanted to show you what we had finished so far. We've redid the girls and boys locker rooms, so they have brand new lockers. We've done a bunch of painting and flooring, so some pictures. I wanted to show you what held us up a bit. So if you look at the picture on the right, the water line that's going down, you see there's a sag when you're kind of looking down towards the light. That's not supposed to happen. That there needs to be more supports, I think, on that. So then we needed to do some more structural investigation, because when the contractor looked at that, they're like, we're surprised that there hasn't been a failure in these water pipes, and this building hasn't flooded yet. So we wanted to make sure we put in enough supports in, and that it was safe and, for everyone. Middle picture of the roof with the forming the curbs for the new HVAC units. And then on the picture on the left is the old boilers that's in the attic. So it was very commonplace to use asbestos in boilers and piping, wrap insulation. It's actually a very durable construction material, but now we know it's not safe. So now we are getting rid of all of that. As we have gone and done all of the HVAC in the school, we are in our final part where we decommission all the boilers and try to get as much of the asbestos out as possible. So putting that under containment and making sure we get all that out has taken some extra time because we found more asbestos than we were planning. But that is all getting done. We're getting it nice and safe for everyone. And we're hoping to get this done by October. On to Proctor. We were able to take the 5 interim housing that was on the upper yard and move them to the, I call the middle yard. I think they call it the lower part. And we replaced 5 of the portables. We brought actually 1 up that was extra from Stanton and reorientated to create a more courtyard look. So that's in an L shape. The center part is not finished yet because we wanted to give the staff some saying on in terms of what surface I want to put in, so that we want to open it up and get input. So I think they're going towards maybe some artificial turf, similar to the playgrounds, but I don't think we have to put in like the foam cushion for it. So that should save some costs. So that is the finished picture will probably come next time for you. And a shot of the interiors of the classrooms at Proctor. Some shots of classroom upgrades we've been doing at Vinoy. Flooring, ceilings, paint, windows, and we also painted the exteriors of the interim housing. That's on their lower yard. Creekside. So we're still working on the fields. We are a little bit behind, but we got the upper field finished, but right now we're waiting for the grass to establish and for the roots to really set in. We were hoping to get it ready for the first week of school, but our landscaping company came out and looked at it and said, no, it's not quite ready. The grass looks nice, but it's not ready to be played on yet. We don't want to damage it. So we gave it another month. So the schools, Creekside can have it, I think, come beginning of September for the upper field. The lower field, we were trying to keep the backstops for the softball field, and it ended up that with the grading and what we uprooted with the foundations, we couldn't keep them. So we had to redesign it and refabricate it, and that is actually what's holding us up on the lower field. We're hoping to get that done by November. But so far so good. We have brand new track that's gone in. The school's very excited to get in. Marshall, we are doing similar to Proctor and Chabot that we did last year. We are working on moving the interim housing portables to replace the permanent ones. Here, we're replacing 2 of the old portables with 3 of the interim housing ones. So on the picture on the left is actually a demo picture. It's them taking the 2 old ones down. So there's half of the last one left. And then the picture on the right is them setting up, and they've just poured the foundations. So you can see all the rebar and the tie-ins. So this started, because we didn't get DSA approval for this until June. So we couldn't start this until July. And so we've done as much as we can to get it buttoned up and fenced off for the site. And we're going to look for some times where there's some gaps, like a PD day, where we can disconnect the old portables and shift them into place, and then the contractor can work behind the fence. So the site's been very understanding and patient with us. This is Stanton. As Aaron was referring to, the picture on the left is actually, if you look around the corner of the paving project that he had mentioned, that was around the multipurpose room and the library area, that this is where their shade structure is going. So what we did was we did all the prep work for the site and paved it, got new concrete in. And you can see like almost a small circle of wood. It's like that's actually where the foundations are. So we made it flush so that it's usable at this point. Once our shade structure is fabricated and sent to us, we will get that coordinated to install it. It's kind of a similar thing that we did at Marshall. And then we did some painting and also around the site. That's the picture on the right. And we get to financials. I am still happy to report that we are on budget. We have spent about $107 million. And we have about 12 million encumbered under contract. And I think we are moving along very well. So any questions?
Did you want to share the applications that we've put in and how much
Yes,
that is?
for the state, our state reimbursements, we are getting to about $29 million that we are expecting from the state with the new governor's budget. Well, I mean, we've been putting in the applications, but once we knew that the governor was going to allocate more, we kind of went full speed on like, okay, these are all the ones we're working on. We're just going to get them all in as soon as we can because it is just a first in, first out. So we just got to line up. So we
really are so fortunate to have Sharon, Susie, and Aaron. I mean, it's just so much work that gets done. I mean, the environment, when we talk about the environment for our students, the physical environment matters a lot as well. So thank you, thank you. It's great.
Gary?
Thanks for the report, as always. You know, when I go on campuses now, in some ways, I don't recognize them anymore. I mean, Measure G has really made a dramatic change in our campuses, so for the better. It's fantastic. So getting that extra $29 million from the state is very helpful. That's terrific. So thanks for all of that work.
Yes.
I just wanted to thank you. All of those projects look really amazing and a lot of improvements for our students. It is really important what the structures and buildings look like for students. I think they feel more valued that way. So you're adding a wonderful value for our students and community.
And to add to what my colleagues have said, I want to appreciate the collaboration with the teachers in choosing the surface for that little courtyard that you're creating. I think that's important also to get, you know, input from people who are going to be using it and around there. So thank you very much for all of your work.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Quentin, I didn't ask if did you have any questions or when? Okay. All right. So now we'll move on to assignment of board members to parent meetings. So we were all given this sheet.
We, based on your conversation, we did switch. Amy has it. I gave it to her.
Gary and Lavender, right?
Gary and Lavender.
Okay.
So we'll send you the final one.
All right. This is
I move that we approve this parent club meetings agenda or paper. I don't know what to call this.
I'll second it.
all right. Are there any questions? All right, Quentin, your preferential vote.
Yes.
Thank you. Gary?
Yes.
Vice President Adams?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. So the assignments of board members to parent meetings is approved. All right. Item D, appoint the CVUSD representative to Mid-Alameda County SELPA and to the Special Ed Parent Advisory Committee.
Yeah, so this is just like just like the parent leadership meeting, we used to have people rotating, but this is really not the same as the parent leadership meeting. It is sort of more of a focus on advisory, and the same people attend it all the time. So we thought it would be great to ask you to consider appointing the representative to Mid-Alameda County, who happens to be Trustee Adams, to have continuity and consistency in that group.
Move approval of that recommendation.
Will you accept?
A second.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Quentin, your preferential vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Gary?
Yes.
Vice President Adams?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. So the appointment is approved. All right. Thank you, Dolly, for accepting that. Superintendent's report.
Be a little longer this time because there's a lot happening. So we actually, some of the activities I did, I went to the Rotary Barbecue, and I think it's important that, this is community members and some community members who've been here for, 70, 80 years. And it's just great to meet with families who've had children go through our school system and be appreciative. I visited schools. I went to Independent, Canyon, Palomares, and walked through classrooms and saw teachers, especially our new teachers. And then I also visited our dual immersion. And it was just wonderful to see the transitional kindergarten and kindergarten student. This weekend, I'm going to actually be at the high school. We have a community member who I had been meaning to actually have her see our wellness center because she had asked, she wanted to get connected and support us. Carol Bigelow, I took her on Friday. And I have to say, I left with just my heart full of gratitude because it wasn't just taking Carol to the wellness center. She graduated in 1961. She was with the first group who went through Castro Valley High School for 4 years. And it was awesome to just, hear her say, oh, that's where we did this and that. But as we were walking through, it wasn't planned to see anybody in particular except for Marion Meadows. So we walked through the office. Everybody is all smiles, just welcoming. We went to the wellness center. Of course, she's really thrilled to see the wellness center and hear from Miss Meadows. Then we walked to the engineering building. This is 4:30, 4:45 on Friday. We still had one of our teachers working with students in the lab, building things. Then we went upstairs and we got to just walk into the classroom with the resource teacher who was so excited and was talking about how, she had 8 of her students who were in the resource program and 7 of them just started college. And it's exciting to hear that. Then we walked around campus and saw Jennifer Oliver, who has created this garden at the high school. But as we were walking through, just hearing from Mrs. Bigelow saying, this is so beautiful, all the murals, all the mosaic, everything with words of encouragement, collaboration, and compassion. So I just felt really good that almost everybody, and like I said, I had not planned on visiting with anyone except for Marion. So just kudos to our team. Then I went to an art show from Art Inc. at the Hayward City Hall. It was beautiful, and they are going to have an art show actually at Adobe coming up. We had a CVEF meeting, planning meeting I attended. We had our Parent Leadership Council, and we had everyone represented. It was awesome. Lots of great questions and follow-up. Let's see. Alice training on Monday. We had our multi-option Alice training right here with like 60 of us administrators going through that. And then there will be obviously refreshers and trainings for students. And what's really wonderful about Alice is it's multi-optional for emergencies, but it's also very appropriate age levels. There are things that you ask high school students to do that you wouldn't ask, obviously elementary students to do. So really great training with 2 retired police officers. Supervisor Nate Miley had a reparations town hall meeting he invited me to, and it was really wonderful to hear. And there's more information once he sends it to us, we'll send it out. I was pleased to see the Avid article. Great job, Ms. O'Brien and the family who was actually interviewed. And then today I attended there's a group of us that meet with a kindergarten collaboration meeting. This is states across California, across the nation. We got to hear from this group from Hawaii and Virginia, and we always think, okay, we've got the answers, but when you listen to everybody else around the nation, you're like, that's a great idea. So it's a really great opportunity for us. So that's it.
That's a lot. Thank you very much. Like, whew, I'm tired. And is there anything you'd like to add for your student reports? Anything you thought of? You don't have to.
Yeah, no, I'd like to comment on what the superintendent said. I think it's really great that you had the opportunity to meet with someone from the class of 1961, because we're actually doing a tour for the class of 1971 in just a few weeks, I believe. And so I'm so happy that we have the opportunity to show them all the new things that have happened on our campus and to show them an overall beautiful campus due to the hard work from all of those at MOT.
It's really awesome.
What a great idea. That's awesome. Thank you. And Quentin is going to be starting with the District Student Leadership Alliance. So our meeting is next week. Thank you.
Barry?
Well, Carol Bigelow cornered me at Rotary yesterday and gave me a complete rundown on her visit. She was still beaming from it. She really did enjoy it. So she's a very nice lady and very generous and involved in the community. So not a lot's happened in the last couple of weeks, although it seems like a lot's happened. But I did attend a SOAR meeting along with Trustee Kuziak. It's a subcommittee where we were talking about how we would report out to the community, talking about our annual report at some point, and also some other materials that we would be putting out. They look like very excellent plans being developed. I'm looking forward to seeing the result on that. I did get to pay a very brief visit to Proctor School and got to see some of the improvements up there this last week, and visit with our new principal up there, who I had not ever actually met face to face. So that was also really good. And finally, I'll just say one thing that as in my capacity as being part of the Chamber of Commerce, I went down to the Ardenwood Farms where Dig Deep Farms, which is a DSAL or Deputy Sheriff Activities League operation. They've opened a branch office down there. They have 84 acres at Ardenwood where they're growing food to give away. So it's a fabulous cooperative venture down there with a lot of people involved in it. 3 of the supervisors were there, the sheriff, I mean, Nate was one of them, a lot of other people. So a very good day and very interesting project. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, in the last 2 weeks, I believe the only thing I did representing in the district was the Parent Leadership Council on Wednesday, the 17th. It was very interesting to and good to see all of the parents at that meeting and talking about their schools and their concerns and their questions. And so I look forward to being at more of those in the future. Otherwise, sort of not as a board member, another thing to mention actually is the Castro Valley Fall Festival, as we all know, is coming up on the 10th and the 11th. I believe the district is going to have a booth there, and a lot of other organizations in town are also going to have booths, one of which I'm working on manning. Okay, and that's it for me.
All right, thank you. And I have not represented the district in any way since our last meeting. So, meeting adjourned.
Good job.